Welcome back, my dear students, for a new chapter. We will talk today about the legal framework, the legal framework of the organization, and consequently, the role of the human resource management in this legal framework. So let me share the screen. Then we will go. This is the legal framework. So the impact on managers, the legal framework determines what is expected to successfully manage people. Laws are written to protect both to protect everyone. The law is to protect everyone, employers and employees. Everyone is around, so that everyone will know what he ought to do, what he ought not to do, what's prohibited and what's right, what's right, what's wrong, what's punished by the law and the acts, and what's encouraged to be done. So everyone will know. Treating employees certain way is just not just a legal requirement, but is a good business. So always the stress on treating the employees in a good way. We have two sets of legislation, legis- legislations, two sets of legislations. Actually, in Canada, federal, which is in the whole government, on the whole Canadian government, and provincials, which like us in only on Ontario, British Columbia, and so on. Territorials are further far north. And the laws are the Canadian Labor Law Code and Canadian Human Rights Acts and the PIPEDA, which is the Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents Acts. So those are the three federals. They are federals, not provincial. They are federals. Okay, federals means they are the same in the 13 provinces and the whole provinces of Canada. They are the same. Human rights legislations, and this is federal and provincial as well. So, like the laws are the acts of the discrimination, either it was intentional or unintentional. Bona fide occupational requirements, also reasonable accommodations and harassments at workplace. This is also one of the points which is very important. So let's go to know what is the meaning of discrimination. What do we mean by the word discrimination? The exclusion of members of certain groups. You try to discriminate means signalize between two groups or two persons, or just those are favors for you and those are no. You don't treat them the same consequently. You don't treat them the same. This is the meaning of discrimination. The exclusion of members of certain groups through the application of employment policies or practices based on criteria that are not job related. So you are not professional. You are treating the people based on your mood, based on your own willings, based on your own options and favorites, the personal one, but not based on the rules of the job. This is, we call it discrimination. Okay, you like this person, you don't like this person. You like this person because of his ethnic, you don't like this person because of his ethnic. Like that way, we call it discrimination. This is, of course, is prohibited at workplace, and all the acts, either provincial or federal, they are against all these kinds of movements and kinds of acts inside or behave inside the organizations. How about the systematic discrimination? The systematic one is hidden employment barriers. It's hidden. You cannot see it. You cannot see it, but you can feel it, but it's not shown up. It's not written on paper. They act it, but it is not, you can touch it, you can feel it. Can result in inequalities of individuals discouraged based on their membership in a certain group. Because I am like that, so you treat me that way. And it's not written in the policies, but you can feel it. Okay. Examples include inflated jobs requirements or recruiting only close friends. Okay. When I recruit someone who's beloved to me or is favored to me, this is a kind of discrimination. So here you will just, regarding the discrimination, I want you to watch the videos about discrimination and tell me, what do we mean by the word discrimination? What are the types of the discrimination? So what are the meaning of discrimination, and what are the types of discrimination as well? Bona fide occupational qualification, job qualification that may be discriminatory due to business or safety reason. So the qualification of the job looks like it's discriminatory, like it's making discrimination, but due to safety reasons, it's called bona fide. Duty to accommodate, requirements that employers adjust employment practice to avoid discrimination. Duty to accommodate, requirements that employers adjust employment practices to avoid discrimination. So duty to accommodate, it tells you as a manager what to do, not to be discriminator. What are the process? What are the ways? What are the figure out to do or to act so you will not be discriminating at work? Reasonable accommodations, we're still in the reasonable accommodations, making adjustment to any aspects of working conditions to prevent discrimination. Always your eyes on preventing the discrimination. Employees expected to accommodate to the point of undue hardship. Employers expected to accommodate to the point of undue hardship. Differences in undue hardship for small and large organizations. So employers will do their best not to discriminate. Okay, they will do their best just not to discriminate. Reverse discrimination, and this is another point, giving preferences to members of certain groups. Giving preference to members of certain groups such that others feel that they are subject of discrimination. So this group of people, I like them so much, so I give preferences to them, I prefer them. So the other groups will feel that they are discriminated. They will feel they are discriminated. They will feel like they are under hatred or whatever, or that the manager or the boss love the other group more than them. This also is very bad in organizations because it kills in the human any motivation. It go with a high rate of frustration, and it lower the morale of a person. And when the morale go down, then the productivity will go down, and the turnover and the willing to leave the job will be increased. Those people who are discriminated, they will never wait in the same job if they find another opportunity. So discrimination is so bad for that. How about the work harassment? What do we mean by workplace harassment? Let us see what is the workplace harassment. So the workplace harassment is any conduct or comment that a reasonable person would consider objectionable or unwelcome. A kind of behavior or a conduct that when you do it, the person which is done towards him, he will feel that this is not welcome. This is not nice to do this. A kind of abuse, like, or attack or offending. Harassments consist of variety of workplace behavior and action. Concepts of reasonable person can be costly to an organization, of course, because if there is harassment, there will be also lower levels of morale, and this will lead to lower levels of productivity and high rate of turnover. Turnover, and the people want to leave working in this organization as long as they are harassed there. Policies and procedures to prevent and deal with harassment. Every place, every workplace in all over the world, is having its policies and acts against the harassment. Enforcement of human rights legislations. Complaint driven and investigations. There must be complaint driven means follow the complaint. Don't put it in the garbage bin. Just follow it and check out what the reason for the complaint. Investigation, I have to investigate what's going on regarding any breaching in the human rights. Determination of reasonable cause or not. The cause and effect relationship, and check out uh, for harassment, for bullying, or for discrimination. Determination of reasonable causes or not. Resolution, reconciliations. Try to find out an exit, a solution for the problem. Decision, make a decision about what happened and make a decision about how to enforce the human rights. Acceptance or appeal. So you will accept or appeal due to the case in front of you. Minimum obligations of employers typically reflects view of governments in relation to social policy. Covers such rights as the rights of hours of work. Like in Canada, your shift is 8 hours a day or mostly 12 hours a day. So the working hours per week is 45 hours per week, including the breaks. Overtime pay, and there's acts also, the acts regarding regulating the overtime. Vacation pay, and you have to take vacation as a percentage of your work annually, is counted for you annually. Uh, how about the labor relationship legislations? Labor relations, unions and those. So governs process and procedures between trade unions and employers. This is the labor relations. It is like intermediate, the labor relation. It's in the middle between the employers or the business owners and the trade unions. It is in between them, administered through a labor relation board. There must be board of director or board, a member of peoples. They are configuring together the labor relation. Those are defending the rights of employees. Their main duty is to defend the rights of employees regarding the pays, vacations, work conditions. Okay. Health and safety legislation continued governs employer responsibility for health and safe workplace. This is we're still talking about the unions and the work compensation, and the labor relation administered through government agencies. Provide monetary payment means money to be paid to employees if illness. In case of the employee is sick, then he's not able to work. Then these unions and this labor relationship, they figure out amount of money for him as a compensation or as a payment. Okay. Especially also in the work injury. If the work injury due to the work conditions, risk at work, then it's the right for the employee to ask for compensation. Employment equity, a distinct Canadian process for achieving equality in all aspects of employment. All are the same. All the people are the same. No one is better than any other one. I just want you to watch this video here and reading regarding the employment equity. Take notes and be well prepared to answer the following questions. What do we mean by employment equity? What's meant by this? The equity means all the people are the same. All employees should be treated this as each other equally from their own employer or their boss. Should treat all of them equally without discrimination. What are the consequences of employment inequity? Okay, if they are now not treated the same, there is discrimination. What do you think? What will happen? Again, we will say that the morale will go down. They will be very upset, frustrated. They will have stress. They will have low morals, and that will lead to low productivity and high turnover. High turnover means that if they have a chance to leave this organization or company and work for another, they will never regret. They will do that. Designated groups. This is another definition. Women, members of visible minorities, indigenous people means like the Indians of the United States and the Indians of Canada, the origin people of the country. They call indigenous. They call them the word Indians, though they are not Indians, of course, but they call them Indians. And persons with disabilities who have been disadvantaged in employment. So women, members of visible minorities, indigenous people, and persons with disabilities who have been disadvantaged in employment. They have been unlucky in employment. They felt they are oppressed or harassed or offended or didn't get any advantage from the work itself. Pay equity, the definition of the pay equity, pay all the people as long as they are doing the same job, pay them all the same money. The wages should be the same. No discrimination again. No discrimination. Same thing. Pay equity, for the pay, there is federal, means on the whole country. Acts that applies to federally regulated companies. Pay equity legislations in 6 provinces. Also prevention. Difficulty in determining equal value for the similar jobs. Actually, if the jobs are not similar, then how you will apply the equity or the equality? How you will apply it? You can apply it, yes, if the jobs all are the same category and all are very similar. But if they are not similar, it make it a little bit hard to make the equality. Diversity at workplace, and this is one of the main aspects here. As example, in Canada, one of the main aspects of the Canadian society is the diversity of the cultures, because a lot of people coming from a lot of places all over the world and working here in Canada all together. Those comes everyone with his own culture, which is different than the others one's culture. So there is a mixed culture here in Canada. This diversity, what is the effect of this diversity? Let's see. What is the effect